because it's spoilers. I mean, I didn't plan to come in here with non-spoilers, so that's kind of where it's at.
A lot of them. My bad. Hello, today you're going to watch a video, or you can choose to watch this video of myself and Emmarae discussing Wild Seed by Octavia E. Butler. We will be discussing the characters, the plots, and a lot about our frustrations with the characters, specifically Doro. There also will be some times where laughter will be in the video to kind of cope with what we're reading and our frustrations in those readings. Wild Seed follows a story of a woman named Anyanwu and also Doro. They are believed to be immortals. Doro finds Anyanwu because she has this special ability that Doro tracks. So Doro has this skill or know-how to be able to attract people around the world who have special abilities like himself. So while he is tracking down Anyanwu, he puts her in a predicament where she has to either choose herself or choose her descendants. Doro is not a likable character. Anyanwu is a frustrating character. There is a lot of trigger warnings in this book. One of them that we discuss a lot in this video, or will discuss a lot in this video, is dubious consent. There are times in this book where you're not really sure what's happening. The lines are blurred. It's just plain and clear not consensual. There are also murder is different types of violences. So I just wanted to pop in and let you know the things about this book and some topics that we will be addressing in this video. I want to make sure that people know what they're getting into by listening to this discussion about Wild Seed by Octavia Butler.
All right, so I'll just start. Welcome to my Booktube channel, The Loc'D. My name is Bree. I have a guest here today, Emmarae, and we will be discussing Wild Seed, the second book in the Octavia E. Butler.
Yeah,
the second book in the Octavia E. Butler slow read, hosted by Njeri from Onyx Pages, Tati from Musically Tati, and Isis, who is the owner of SisterSci-Fi.com, which is a collective of merchandise and books that is focused on Black authors who write in the science fiction and fantasy genres, I believe. I hope I said that correctly.
It sounded
right. So I asked Emmarae to come on and talk with me about Wild Seed because we have been participating in the OEB since it started, right?
Yes.
And we've talked about all the books. And we have a lot of questions and a lot to say about Anyanwu and Doro. So we're going to first start off with Emmarae introducing herself, and then we'll go ahead and do our review.
Cool. Yeah, I'm Emmarae. Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
I'm Emmarae, so
cool. I'm a person. Yeah, I started the Octavia E. Butler slow read with the first book, Kindred. And right before they announced the slow read, I had just finished the Xenogenesis trilogy. I think that's how you say it.
Really?
So it was like perfect. I was like, oh, cool. I wanted to read more anyway.
Yeah.
Then started reading it and then started talking to you about it because I saw you like in the live for Kindred. And I was like, oh my God. We're doing this book. And so now I have lots of thoughts and questions and frustrations and exhaustions, if that's a word, about Wild Seed. So I'm excited for this.
People make words up every day.
Hey,
that's so why not add that to the English vocabulary? Okay, first question is, tell me your thoughts on the characters.
I strongly dislike Doro.
Okay.
And I have like mixed, complicated feelings about Anyanwu.
Okay.
Because like I feel so bad for her, but don't think I fully even understand her, even though the book was like kind of more from her perspective.
Yeah.
And so I think I just have like mixed feelings on Anyanwu, and feel like I need to finish the whole series to form like a complete opinion about her, because I think I just still don't know her, and maybe I need to do a reread. I don't know.
It'd be like that.
Yeah.
It really do be like that. I think for me, I feel similar. Doro is just reminds me of the patriarchy in the most toxic ways. Doro has this sense of entitlement that I feel that no matter how much you think progress is being made or Anyanwu is putting in the work and trying to like get him to connect to just some sort of humility and empathy, he still reverts back to his killing ways. And it's just hard for me to connect with him because in a lot of ways he feels like a lost cause. And that's something very difficult for me to say as a therapist too. Like, oh,
right.
Like, there's no room for Doro to be what is it called? Redeemed.
Yeah.
But for me, he's just a very difficult character for me to connect with or like. Anyanwu, I feel that she thinks that she's doing what she has to do to survive, and she's doing what she has to do to protect her descendants. And I love her her connection to her descendants and her like mothering type of personality.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like she is not worried about herself. Like it's always she's always doing stuff for the benefit of other, like this self-sacrifice personality trait that I just can't quite relate to. But I understand, like, she is trying to protect her lineage and her people is very important to her. She has a connection with them versus Doro is like anybody, any person is dispendable to me.
Oh yeah.
So, Anyanwu, it's like one moment I'm like, oh, she ain't messing around with Doro. She about to kill him, or something is about to happen, and then she becomes passive, and I just what?
There's so many times in my annotations where I wrote, okay, it's about to go down. She's gonna kill him. She's gonna do something, and then so she wouldn't. Like you said, she'd become passive, and then I would write, wait a second, what? Or are you just gonna?
And I kept waiting to get more aggression from her ability to like switch into different animals and different people. I was waiting for her to switch into a tiger and rip his throat. You know, like I was waiting for some aggression.
Oh my God!
And it did not happen.
Or when she would like not discover a new power that she had, but start talking about an ability of hers or how she can like fine tune it, and then I would write like in the margins, cool, don't tell Doro, and the next page she'd be telling him, and I'd be like, don't tell him that, keep that to yourself to use it against him, don't like all the secrets.
All of them.
And yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, that's true. What did you think about the plot?
I liked the pace of it all. I just, I forgot she'd been living for a really long time. I don't know if that's because I read the book a while ago or what, but I forgot that, she's like several hundreds.
300 years old.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that, and I think I kept forgetting that while I was reading it. I did like the plot. I thought reading about early America was going to be real rough, especially after reading Kindred. I thought, oh boy, here we go. But it was interesting to read that and have that history sort of be the background in a sense. but yet still very much happening in Doro's town. So it's like you weren't really escaping from it. It was just slightly different.
Yeah.
But I did love the book. I liked where it went, even though I wanted Doro dead. I still really enjoyed it because I had so much emotion, so much things to say, so many thoughts, writing so many things. I don't think I've ever been that engaged with a book before, really.
I'll be honest. Yeah, me too. Wild Seed is also the first book where I was like, let me test out this annotating thing. Like, but then I felt like there is no way, and I just feel that for me, there is no way for me to read Octavia E. Butler without annotating. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, for Kindred, I wrote so many notes, and I listened to that book, but I wrote so many notes. There is no way to just be like, without writing something.
Right.
I'm a little embarrassed of how blank it was, but I was like new to it. I was like, should you?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, the beginning of mine's all blank, and then it kind of gets a little colorful.
Right.
And I did like orange was when people were talking, so I could spot that as I went back, and then blue was just like paragraphs and stuff. Can we talk about the transitions?
Yes.
I found that so interesting and written so vague but complex. Like I think it's interesting that he wanted them to go through as much pain as possible and just hope that they don't die.
Yeah.
When Anyanwu was like, wait, a higher percentage of them can live if I'm there for them, or if we have people around them to help them through it. And he was like, not about that. I found that so conflicting in his thought process, because wouldn't you want more to make it through so you can keep making this race of people? But then at the same time, in his brain, I think that means you're weak. If you had to have someone coddle you, you should go through as much pain as you can to make it out victorious, and then I'll breed you with a bunch of other people.
Yeah. I also thought, to take it a step further, maybe he didn't want a bunch of people because they could read his mind. Remember?
Oh, yes.
Read his mind.
Maybe he got scared.
Yeah, he was like, I need to control this.
Yes. Okay, yes.
For me. So I think that was one of the things I thought about as well. I saw another note in my annotation where he would be like, just forcefully, and I would write, consent is sexy. What was your thoughts on the Anyanwu first partner, Isaac? Like, partner after Doro is what I mean, like her husband.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I wrote what the fuck a lot, like WTF.
Me too, yeah. I wrote Isaac can fuck off.
I wrote that too on the last page. On page 69, where it says, you'll have the Virginias, he said. You'll have Anyanwu too. I'll share her with you later. When Isaac did nothing to conceal his eagerness. Later I said, this is a dangerous time for her. She's leaving behind everything she's ever known, and she has no idea what she's exchanging it for. If we force too much on her now, she could kill herself before she'd been any use to us. Shape her. What the F? Doro lied, is what I wrote. Yeah, it was just too much. I also wrote some stuff about like how gender was like explained in this book.
Yeah. It was very peculiar. Even after Anyanwu had like married a woman as a dude, and then like called her an like she brought up abominations again, and it was like, what? I don't think you have room to talk now.
Only for her to then procreate as a man. What?
Yeah, I just like I was so confused and like so angry. Like, how I just,
I don't know.
especially after you're going to live as a dolphin, a bird, a tiger, a man, a white man. Like, you're going to live all these different entities and then be like, that's an abomination. Like, girl, shush. Sit down.
Yeah, it was a lot of hypocrisy throughout this book with Anyanwu and Doro. But I will say for Isaac, I don't know, he was the character I liked the most.
Yes, he was. I hated him in the beginning because
Same.
he was so like forceful and wanted her to like erase her name and blend in so well. And then he was just like kind of there for her.
Yeah.
At times, and then would kind of get aggressive, but then be there for her again. So it was very interesting, and I think he was so scared of Doro, and then especially witnessing what happened with his mom, that he didn't want that to happen to Anyanwu, and so I think that's why he encouraged her to like have more power.
Yeah.
Or to overtake him. But I think he was so scared, and I think he saw her as a way out for everybody.
Yep. Yeah, but I felt like that is a lot of pressure to put on black men, and a black woman, and here we go, putting more pressure on a black woman in this way.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about Anyanwu being so like visibly disgusted and pissed with Doro when he would kill people, and then they would have a face-to-face spat?
Yeah.
And then she would have sex with him.
Yeah. I didn't understand that.
I was just always confused of her being like, you don't care, and you don't this, and you don't care about me, and you. Okay, get up in me.
Yeah. That I felt violated while reading that.
I felt so violated while reading that.
Like clearly that is part of his power, to just get people to do whatever, whenever, even if he doesn't say it. So like maybe all those times where she would get up in his face and be yelling at him and then just be like, all right, meet you in the bed. Was that his power? Like controlling her brain or controlling her decisions without him having to verbally say, enough, let's get busy?
I just felt like it was another form of control. Like it still was another form of control, and it was unconsensual, and I felt like maybe she felt trapped. I felt like her pro-life was situational.
100%.
I think what really frustrated me is when she got caught.
Yeah.
Like when she flew away, became the dolphin, the whole situation. But when she got caught, she was just like, hey, I'm going to tell you everything in my living room.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Lady, what?
That page is highlighted and like I got angry and just did like scribbles.
Yeah. I was just like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Is what this is.
Oh my gosh.
Would you care flipping to a random annotation and describing how you felt?
Sure, yeah. Okay, so flip to just a random page?
Yeah, a random page.
Okay, cool. Oh, there was nothing on that page. Oh, because I didn't I started reading on my Kindle.
Yeah.
First, so I was taking notes in my notebook, and then I bought the book because I was like, I'm writing too many notes. It's exhausting. I want to highlight. So then I went out and bought the book. But so I turned to actually Booktube Loc'D's Children, and I wrote a lot of things.
Tell us what we wrote.
All right. I said, first off, wow, book one started out like a slap to the face. Doro is the absolute worst. And I did a little research on Loc'D's Children because I didn't totally grow up in the church, so I was unaware of a lot.
Yeah.
According to Google, after Lot and his daughters escaped, they ended up living in a cave, and the daughters got him drunk 2 nights in a row to have sex with him without his knowledge, and then they both got pregnant.
Damn!
So, perfect title for book 2.
Perfect title.
Perfect.
For book 2.
I now understand.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think to look it up. I was just like, oh, a cool title. Is what I thought. Because now that you told me you looked it up, it just reminds me of when and Jerry talked about the different times that Christianity shows up in E. Butler's books. So, okay. I was just like, okay, cool title. I was just reading. But it also was those moments where I just couldn't stop. It was just like page for me. So let me get to where you're at. Figure out if I wrote anything. Because I tend to write stuff at the end of chapters.
Yeah.
So let's see if I did. I wrote nothing.
Nothing?
I didn't write anything. Did I highlight anything?
What about on the page before? I highlighted the last sentence because I hated it. That said, he lifted her with the strength of his arms alone and carried her to the great soft bed, there to make the children who would prolong her slavery.
I don't know why I didn't highlight that. Maybe because, to be honest, while I was reading, I was like, how many times does one highlight fuckery?
All right. Yeah.
Like, it's just so much of it. And sorry, y'all watching and y'all like, well, Bree dropped the F-bomb. It be like that sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. Especially this.
It was just constantly me being like, what? Like, I
was wondering, when does it cross from annotating to now just coloring? Because pages are full.
That's so serious. I just wrote down something that I thought was a little funny. And I cannot believe I wrote this. Like, what is happening? So on page 123, it says, now though she controlled her digestion, soothed the sickness from her body. I wrote, IBS could never.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Why would I write that?
Just in the moment.
The moment I wrote, IBS could never.
Oh my god.
That's too funny. Oh my god.
Is this where they she had dairy and she thought they were playing like a practical joke on her?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I loved that part.
Yeah. And that's why I was like, IBS could never. That was just, and then the animal milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was just so, it was also something I wanted to mention was, what did you think about her constant reference to things being an abomination?
Oh my gosh, I thought it was so excessive. Like, okay, we get it. You have a lot of strong opinions.
Right.
But like, according to her logic, if all these things that are different to her are an abomination, then she's an abomination.
Then Doro is also an abomination.
Yeah, and all her kids, all her descendants that she cherishes are abominations. Like,
that's the Obama crew, you know, the abomination crew.
Yeah. I just thought, like, girl, I'm looking at that right now. Abomination.
It's just everything was an abomination. Did you find anything else? Like, if you could pick another, like, place where you did some annotation.
Where I did a lot. Oh yes. What pages? Actually, I wrote it just recently on here. On page 161 is when one of her daughters is telling Doro that her and her sisters hate Anyanwu sometimes because they believe that she's like keeping Doro for herself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's y'all's dad. Isn't that serious? Like, it just grossed me out whenever the daughters were like, I want to sleep with him, Mom.
You know, that is a constant theme that I had to brush by. You know, I just couldn't give it much thought, if I'm being honest, because I think what Octavia E. Butler was trying to do was trying to normalize it in the sense of he wore a different body.
Yes.
Of being like, oh, he had a different body, but he still had the same consciousness.
Right.
So for me, it felt daddy issues-ish.
For sure.
It just didn't feel right. I don't even have the words of how to describe how it felt, but I was just like,
yeah,
wow, everybody wants in another part, like addition to what you're saying that I found interesting, and definitely give me your thoughts on it, is how Doro would wait until these young girls are 18 to procreate or due to, situation.
Yeah.
With them. And I was just like, so you were a predator like their whole life. It felt very predatory. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, because he would scout them out when they were kids. Like, oh, she has that talent. I could go get this body. I'll wait till she's older. And then, like...
Right, it just...
Or knowing when they're children who he wants them to get with to make a baby. Like knowing, oh, yeah, this kid and that kid are going to get together when they're 18. Like, the planning that he does and being so many steps ahead, it's just...
And I don't know if you've noticed this too. He would have sex with them before he would marry them off.
Yeah.
And I
like the night before, and they're like, so you're getting married. What?
It just, I don't know. There's just so many things. Like Doro, even though my hate for him is strong, and I don't like using the word hate, but I just don't like this character at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so complex. Like there's so many levels to it, and I feel like when are we going to get more background information on him?
Yeah.
It just feels very unknown.
Yeah, because we got his like little bit of a background of when he like first got his power or something when he was like a kid.
He accidentally killed his parents.
Yeah, and then like everybody in his path. But
it's out here.
Like, how does he get to like, oh, I'm just gonna create and own a bunch of people and keep making more people to have the ultimate people?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, how to get that bad?
Yeah. What was your thoughts on Anyanwu's naivete?
Her what? Sorry.
Her naivete. Is that what they say?
Oh. I felt like she also had a strong, or not strong, but at moments of like trying to see the good in everything, even when she was in a very dangerous situation. And I don't know, a lot of times I just didn't understand her thought process, that I don't even really know how to answer the question.
No, that's I mean, that's part of it. That's answering it, being like constantly confused by her.
I'm constantly confused.
Constantly confused by her. I think what got me is like, I know that she's new to this world, right? She stayed in where she was from for hundreds of years, right? Mm-hmm. And then Doro took her outside of that. Mm-hmm. But I felt that because she have already had lived a life, like different trauma and different things that happened to her, that she wouldn't be so naive in a new place.
Yeah.
Thought that transition to me didn't seem like totally plausible for me in a way.
Yeah.
And then her believing just pieces of what he said, if I was her, I don't think I would think that this place he's bringing me to, what was it, Wheatley is what it was called?
Yeah.
Wheatley was his only, like, place of where he has these people that have abilities that he wants.
Oh yeah.
And then he was lying to her, like all the lies about the other places he had with her descendants in.
Yeah, when she was like, "Hey, please don't go after my descendants," and he'd be like, "Totally." And then like the next line would be like, "He wouldn't tell her about the descendants."
Yeah, and I'm like, and then I'm sitting here like, how many of these little camps? Because that's what it sounds like. He keeps saying these are towns. No, these are camps, bro. You can't even leave. Like, this is not okay, right?
Yeah, or he'll track them down if they leave.
Right. And then kill them and be like, oh, new bodysuit, new this.
Oh.
Not new this, who me? That's what I kept writing.
And them wearing their body and showing up to the town like, what's good? Someone else try it.
Try me if you want. It's just, I don't know. It was just beyond me. And I also was interested about when he would open his mouth and people would just know who he was.
Yes. I wanted to hear that, but not so badly. Like, what does that sound like? Ooh, but I don't want to get roped in.
Right. Yeah, it's just, wow. And then I thought the different things that people do for pain, right? Currently in the U.S., that's the only lens I can use right now. A lot of people take drugs, abuse alcohol, different things for pain. And while I was catching myself judging these women that he found and judging them in the sense of them being like, don't leave me, I need you, I'll do anything for you, blah, blah, blah. And I had to catch myself from judging them because they had these abilities that was literally driving them like just crazy. Like their thoughts, hearing other people, the physical pain, like it's just having those abilities were very uncomfortable for them. And he was the release for somehow. So I had to get for somehow. So I couldn't, it was hard for me. I had to interrupt those thoughts of judgments on them of being like, you never know what people do when they're in pain or excruciating pain or loneliness. Loneliness can really get you. So I had to think about those things too.
Yeah, I thought about that a lot when the women would be like, oh, don't leave, or like, oh, I love you, or so badly want to be with him. And then I would take a moment and be like, well, I've never been in a situation like this. So as aggravating as it is, I would just like make it kind of like a note and be like, cool, go back to that later, because I've never been in an abusive relationship, or I've never needed something to take away any kind of pain that I was feeling, like what you were saying. So I don't know. It's aggravating for me to read because I think that I wouldn't do that in that situation. Yeah. But in reality, I have no idea. I probably would be like them if I was in that situation. Where, and then, tagging on their abilities that are driving them wild, and him just being like, deal with it. Like, so there's no relief anywhere. So of course it would be in him, the person who like gave him everything or gave them everything.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Thank you for saying that. Saying that now, like, because I remember reading it and being like, oh, this is tough. I don't like this. And then being like, well, I haven't lived anything remotely close to this.
Yeah.
Being manipulated to this extent. And then it just being whatever survival mode you're in to get out of it, or to get through it, more likely.
Yeah. Because Doro, in my mind, is the ultimate stalker and the ultimate abuser. And then when I say ultimate, it's that there's literally something wrapped in your DNA, your blood, that he can track. So it's not like a situation where you could go into witness protection It's not a situation where you can get a new name and move to another country. You know, it's not a situation where you can call a police officer or, you know, get a gun or, you know, there's literally nothing that you can do to stop him from being a predator.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I have a question. When she was a dolphin, is that the only time he couldn't find her?
When she's an animal. That's
when she's an animal. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. I couldn't remember because that's wild.
I would have stayed an animal the whole time. I was like, "Why did you come out?"
Yeah,
ocean. I'd have been.
Oh yeah, chill with your dolphin babies. Have a great life.
Oh yeah, I would have just died a dolphin. Me,
yeah.
I was in there.
And she said she was so much happier as a dolphin too. All the time throughout the book. She missed the water, missed the dolphins. Stay a dolphin.
Man, it would have been new fish. Who this? I'd have been a I'd have been an eel. I would have been all type of stuff. I would have been a shark. I would have became Hinton just to see what happens when you're this small. I would have been a jellyfish, something deep.
Ooh,
you know, listen. I would have been in there trying things out. I swear. Like,
oh yeah.
But I guess when you've been living as a human.
Yeah, easy to say.
Right, when you've been living as a human for so long, it's only so much fish stuff you can take, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's what it is. But I was so shocked she had like dolphin babies like that. Like, I was like, whoa.
It was wild. I guess I didn't realize how long she was gone because I was reading so fast. Just because I was like, I gotta get through this story to figure out if he dies.
I know.
No, I think when I read that part, it didn't sink in how long she had been gone or hidden from him.
Yeah.
A while. Homegirl had dolphin babies.
Yep, she was gone for a while, and then she came back up, and she would just go. She was just traveling to get away from him.
Yeah.
And he would try to find her and try to find her. And the whole time I kept thinking, like, being so upset, because I literally tend to view Doro as a predator and as a super stalker.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, the millennial, you've been alive. You have no other business to tend to?
Right? All those people that you're so proud of, and this one wild seed or whatever he calls her a wild seed, right? Or like like she's the one that's aggravating you that much.
Well, I think he calls her Sun Woman, right? Too.
Oh yes,
Sun Woman. Yeah.
Yes.
But she is a wild seed.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So then he talks about like, oh, I should have killed her, and then won't like.
Yep. Brings me to my highlighted piece.
Ooh.
Oh, he goes, Sun Woman, either you will accept my people in this way that you have defined, or you will come with me, taking mates when and where I command, or you will give me your children. One way or another, you will serve me. What is your choice? I wrote this motherfucker Doro.
Yo, I just know. Like, can we call those areas towns or just sex cults?
That's really what it was.
That's what it is.
And it was never consensual. I felt it was like forced. It was like, it kind of felt like hopeless. Like, okay, I'm in this situation. There's literally nothing I can do. I kind of want to live. If I leave, he's going to kill me. He's going to like, no one had a choice. And people constantly kept saying, it's not like I had a choice.
Yeah.
And when you don't have a choice, even though bodies would, participate in the act of coitus, it's still not consensual to me. So this was, man, I think this is probably my most hated character I've ever read in a book.
Same. And exhausting. It was so exhausting to be in his mind as he's rationaling. I keep doing quotes just because I don't want to give like any gratification to how he thinks, but how his rationalization on things and his ideas, it was just, I would read it and just have to like sit, take a break, and then jump back in like, oh,
let's take some time to talk about Thomas.
Okay. I have some thoughts. Sometimes he's the most annoying just dude ever, and I just want him to shut up, or I want to punch him in the throat.
Yeah.
Either one's fine. And then other times it's like, okay, are you trying to help the situation? But then no, like I couldn't get a read on what this character, what his character was and what he was trying to represent. I just felt like he was like a frantic wave. I just couldn't pin it. Like,
and when he was introduced, I kept thinking to myself, you know what, Sun Woman, aka Anyanwu, you are saint. Because I don't think that I would have just been like, look, you're just gonna have to kill me, because this man spoke to her with such vile. Vile. He was so upset. He also had like the ability to hear people's thoughts, and I think feel and different things like that. Like,
yeah, that's right.
So I understood to a point, right? What that may feel like to constantly be absorbing other people's thoughts, pains, and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he spoke to her, I felt also was just a bit of karma on her telling other people they're an abomination, and her just spewing hate to other people.
Good point.
Yeah, so I was like, maybe this is a bit of that karma coming right back around. Yeah. This is beautifully written. Like, there was nothing else I could say about that. It was so beautifully written.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. I found him when he was telling Anyanwu, like, you got to survive this because you're the only one who can, like, take him down. I was thinking, like, cool. This is how the story ends. Takes this, like, last motivational talk, and she's like, for Thomas. But then, no. Thomas also is the one whose mom was a telepath, and she died as well, right? And he was like, oh, yeah, well, that's just how things are. And I felt like his push to acclimate Anyanwu, I don't know if I said that right, was very interesting as well, because I felt like he would get really pushy and then not back off, but then be like, oh, okay. And then get really pushy again. I don't know. I just got like weird vibes from him when they were in the town for a while. Yeah. And I don't know if that's just me being like, I don't know, not understanding life. Like,
no,
who knows?
I feel that. I feel like I'm remembering a thought I had while reading, but I didn't write it down. But the whole time I kept writing, okay, colonizer. Like, like I just kept writing, like, thinking, like, okay, colonizer, with certain things that Doro did. I also felt like the invasiveness of Doro, like his physical presence and just his being, was overwhelming in that section as well, because I felt that he stripped everyone of autonomy. Like every piece of it, because you'll notice in some of this book and other books, when people will tell him how they feel or openly disagree or, do a back and forth discussion of somehow, and they may walk away or need some space, he just still following them. And I would be so pissed. Like, and I know that was like me, some countertransference there of me being, because I hate it when people do that to me. Like, if I'm upset and I just need to walk away to just calm down, I don't need to see you, hear you, or feel you breathe, nothing. And he kept following me. And I'm just like, bro, you can't give somebody 2 minutes alone. And the only time you get some peace from him is when he's going to look for other relatives to, procreate.
He didn't like when people had their own thoughts.
Okay, Doro's power. is it a type of situation where he needs to physically touch skin in order to transfer, or he can touch clothes, whatever? If it's skin, can we put on 100 layers?
Yeah.
Throw this mug in a dungeon and be done with this.
Right?
But I do remember in the beginning of the book, him describing his ability as that when the body dies, he goes into the next thing. Like the next.
That's right.
So I was like, so you can't escape him. Any final thoughts you want to share about?
Let me look through my quick notes here. Oh, yes. Okay. There was a part where Anyanwu, I guess it's sort of towards the end, she's talking about where she found one guy. I can't remember his name at all, but he was the dad to Stephen, her young son. Is that the...
Oh, I don't think she even said his name.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't think she said his name, but I'm looking.
Well, when she found him, or when he found her, because he could read her thoughts as well, and was like, hey, you've been a white dude too long. And she was like, what? But when she was telling Doro everything in the living room, and she said that the white guys were showing her, like, his teeth and his muscles, and they were like, oh, look, he'll be a great breeder. And she was like, oh, they think a lot like you. You would probably like them. And Doro was like, I doubt it. Bruh, y'all are doing the same thing. Why you got a dude saying he's a great breeder? How's it different? Just because superpowers are involved? It's the same thing, Doro. The same thing.
This is another thing I had. That I think might be like a controversial statement. I feel that Doro and Anyanwu have a lot in common. And I say that because of, her own Wheatley that she created after escaping him. And her collection of people. Even though she said they came to me, right? But her collection of people, and it's also like brings me back to me saying, what do you think about her naivete? Because I don't know, if I was Anyanwu and I had all these people with special abilities living at my house, and me taking care of them, I know that Doro's coming, so I'm literally gathering up people for him, like he's coming.
Yeah.
Rather he come here and I'm not here, rather he come here and I am here. He's going to exploit your people.
Yeah.
So it felt like, even though she felt like, oh, but I'm healing them and they're free to leave. Free to leave until when?
Yeah.
Like, their freedom is limited.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. I felt like she blamed the Doro for a lot of stuff that she inherently created.
Yeah.
If that's the way to say it.
No, yeah, I understand. I do agree. Now that you point that out, I had not had that on my radar. I thought that she was contradictory at times because I'd be like, gosh, that sounds like Doro. But yeah, she basically had like a group of people waiting for him.
Yeah, and I think on some conscious level she had to know that. Because she had to, because when he came, she was too calm. And she told everyone about him. Everyone did not know who this mug was. Even he was shocked. He was like, oh, they know me. And she's like, I've told them about you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like you knew his powers and what he was capable of. So if you really were trying to save your descendants, you would have been by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So he has a special ability of tracking people.
Yeah, like the ultimate surveillance.
Yeah, for real, I told you, a super predator, super Yeah, I mean, that whole situation that happened at the house and him bringing the wild ones to and the destruction that they caused. Like, I was close to tears in that one scene where some people RIP.
Mm-hmm.
So
Same.
I
I actually remember reading it and I like shut the book and my husband was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I'm so angry. I think I'm gonna cry." And he goes, "Okay." And I was like, "I'm gonna read a little bit more." And he was like, "I don't think you should do that."
maybe take a break. I mean, facts.
It was heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking. I also feel like you can tell my book been through the struggle. I've thrown it.
Hey.
I've shoved it in my purse when I was upset. I was just, you know,
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's been through a lot. It has been through a lot, and I'm happy that I finished it. I wasn't gonna finish it because I just was so angry.
Wasn't Tati in the comments was like, "Finish the book, Bree."
Tati came for me, and guess what I did? I finished it that day. I was like, all right.
Okay.
I thought maybe I was going to fall asleep to it and be like, oh, yeah, I didn't finish it. No, I finished it. And then, like, 2 days later, I went and got this one. I started reading this before the slow read.
Yeah, me too. I was like, I gotta get into it.
Let me slowly read a chapter, just to see. Let me see where we're at here. But now I'm, like, this far in.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so.
Mine's, like, right behind me right there. I'm about, like, halfway through.
Oh, okay. Halfway?
Yeah. I stayed up. You're really late reading sprints? I think I was reading Braden Sweetgrass, and then I stopped and started reading Mind of My Mind and was just furiously taking notes.
Wow. I really like those reading sprints. I want to do more of them.
That's so nice and so helpful.
Yeah.
I loved them.
I felt like I was type A. Like, all right, 15 minutes, we done. It's time to
I loved it. It's great.
Anyway, thank you everybody for watching our video as we talked about Wild Seed by Octavia E. Butler, a fantastic ancestor who wrote phenomenally, even though the characters caused you to want to catch some of them outside. The 1, 2, 3 combo.
Oh yes.
Any final thoughts you want to say to people before we?
If you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. You'll have a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings, and then you can watch this and be right here with us.
That's so true. Okay, well, until next time, we'll see y'all later. We will also be doing a review on Mind of My Mind, and we will let you guys know that. Hopefully, Mind of My Mind review should be up in February, according to my planning of content list. So, we'll head out. Bye, y'all.
Bye.